everybody, and welcome back. Today is, well, it's a great day. This is being uploaded on draft day. This is Christmas. This is everything for NFL fans. It is hope, and it's the favorite day of the year to be a fan. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think it is hope, but I also think after the end, fans could be completely demoralized as well. So, it's a pick your own poison. It's a choose your own adventure novel, if you will.
And sometimes the adventure you choose, you absolutely hate and want to get off. It's like a story mode in a video game. Who hasn't played a BioShock game before?
Me.
Well, you're old.
Okay, yeah, I keep forgetting that.
Okay, well, here I am. This is Jordan Parish's mock draft of what he would do. This is my own personal grades of how I grade them. There will be players you'd be like, he's not going round one. I know, but I loved him, and I just wanted to give him some shine. Some guys will be higher, some guys will be lower. This is my take on these prospects overall, and also, this is very scheme fit dependent, and I just want to get that out there because there will be some moves that are like, I want my team to take this. Well, I viewed this as a bigger need. And one final thing, because I know you're ready to get started because I'm not hosting this, there are trades in this draft. I used a draft tech draft trade pool. I used everything to make sure the point system add up. So all these traits are semi-realistic. I know they're way more complicated in real life. This is the best I could do.
So with that, I'm going to ask a quick question. We always hear from the draft analysts and everything is that there aren't 32 first-round draft grades out there. Some teams only have 12. Some teams may have 14. So first off, how many first-round draft grades do you have? And second off, what's your determining factor?
So I have 19 first-round grades. We'll get into them. They're all picked in the first round. Big shock in this. For me, it's a couple things. First of all, the film needs to be there. If the film is not there, not even a question. If you don't show me enough, I'm not putting you there. Second of all is positional value. I do put a big thing on positional value. I view quarterbacks as much higher, so some guys I might have a second round talent on, but first round positional value, he'll be put in that first round grade. But he has to be close enough for me to deem it worthy. And lastly, injuries are a major factor. I may have someone, now I'm just going to use him for example, because he would be a first round grade if he didn't have the injuries. Michael Penix. He had so many of the time in Indiana, and I felt like he had some struggles last year, battling some injuries. He still played, but I didn't feel like it was the same thing, so I knocked him because of it. That's how I view this. It's film, positional value, and injury history. Because I don't get to talk to these players. I don't know their knowledge. I don't know how they are behind the scenes. I don't have all this information that other teams do. So if some guy has questions about character and all that, I don't have this information. I can only judge on the three factors I just gave you.
Fair enough. Well, let's get this party started then. So with the Bears' first overall pick, you mentioned you had some trades. Are they going to shock the world and trade the first round pick again, or are they going to stick and pick?
I'm not going to waste everyone's time. You traded Justin Fields. You don't have another quarterback. This is Caleb Williams' show. He has been deemed a prodigy for a while now. How many years have we been hearing about Caleb is going to be the guy at first overall?
4.
Feels like it, but actually it hasn't been that long. He has progressed in Lincoln Riley's system. Every year it felt like he got better. Does he have flaws in his game? Absolutely. He's not a perfect prospect, but no prospect is ever perfect. He has the tools, he has the traits, and he plays the most important position in the league. And he's also my number one graded out player.
Fair enough. Well, let's move right along. I'm sure there's going to be some of these picks where you're going to feel like you need to defend yourself a little bit more than the chalk Caleb Williams pick. So we'll go with the Commanders. What are the Commanders going to do?
I got Drake May here, and I know there's a lot of talk about Jaden Daniels going too, and it wouldn't shock me if that happened come tomorrow night or tonight as this is being uploaded on Thursday. I think Drake May is just a better player, and he has more room to grow. Jaden Daniels, I believe, is 2, maybe 3 years older than Drake May. Drake May has only started 2 seasons, while Jaden Daniels has started 5 seasons. I think the ceiling is closer for Daniels than it is May. May has a lot more to grow, and he does have his struggles. I've seen some balls that he has dirted that I'm like, why'd you do that? But then he also has these throws that I'm like, dear God, is this the reincarnated version of Aaron Rodgers? He just has that arm talent, and he comes from UNC. He's a very intelligent guy from everything you hear about him, you read about him. He seems like a perfect NFL quarterback. He's got the talent, and he has the brains. Now, does he still have room to grow? Absolutely. But I think he'll get there.
So basically, I think where you're coming from on this is he's got the higher overall upside because he still has a lot of room to develop, where maybe Jaden Daniels has kind of hit his development streaks. I mean, he might get better, but he really isn't going to progress as far as May can.
Absolutely.
Fair enough. All right, moving right along, we're going to go with the Patriots. And are we going? We've heard a ton of trade rumors. Especially the one that I think I heard it about 4 times today was the Vikings were, not the Vikings, excuse me, but the Giants were going to trade up with the Patriots. So what do you have the Patriots doing?
Okay, first of all, the Giants and Patriots making a trade so the Giants can take a quarterback is funny to me because their quarterback's the whole reason why their Hall of Fame one doesn't have more rings. No, I do not. And I know a lot of people look at the Patriots like, you got to trade back, you got to get assets, you got to get assets. You can make that case, but I also look at this Patriots team and I'm like, they don't need assets. They need talent. This is a talent on offense that is bad. They have the worst receiving room in the league probably right now. Their line could use some improvements, but I'm going to go with my best player on the board, who was my third overall player, Marvin Harrison Jr. I know that there's never been a wide receiver drafted top 5 that has won a Super Bowl with his team. I was shocked when I heard that, but it's actually true when you look into it. But what does Maserati Marv bring? He brings talent. The Patriots haven't had a guy this talented since Randy Moss, and that was nearly 20 years ago. We're almost to that point. So we look at the Patriots have needed a number 1 wide receiver for a long time. They've gotten by with having a number 1 tight end Gronk and having key guys like Edelman, Wes Welker who can play their roles, but you don't have a Tom Brady back there anymore. You have a Jacoby Brissett, who I do think is a good quarterback and can start games, but I don't think he's elite. You need to get him an elite number 1 to show off their talent overall and win some games, because at the end of the day, Bostonians are not known for patience.
Very true. Very true. The audience doesn't really know about the conversation we had today, but the fact that you took Marvin Harrison here instead of a quarterback absolutely makes me laugh, because this is what I've been arguing with, either taking Harrison or trading down. And the fact that you took Harrison, I love that pick. I love the pick for the Patriots. So let's go with the Cardinals. Are the Cardinals going
to run back? If Drake May was on the board, I would have taken with the Patriots. But the difference I have between Marv and Jaden Daniels, won Marv over for me in the end.
Fair enough. All right. So are the Cardinals going to skip a pick?
You wish. Instead, they're going to take a guy from their division rival's backyard. Their division rival coached him. Give the Cardinals Rome Odunze. And I know this probably isn't the pick that everyone expects, but I look at how Kyler throws the ball and I look at the type of receiver he needs. The reason him and DeAndre Hopkins worked out so well was because Hopkins was so great at the point of attack to catch the ball. He was great in contested catches. Is there a better contested catch guy in this draft than Rome Odunze? I don't think there is. I don't think it's particularly close. So as much as we could point out Malik Neighbors can run by people, and he can, Rome Odunze can jump, can get the ball at the point of the catch, and he just is a phenomenal wide receiver. Let's not lose the track. He's amazing.
One thing I like about both Odunze and Harrison going before Malik Neighbors, and this might be just my opinion, but both Harrison and Odunze are more physical than Neighbors. When Neighbors was pressed more with NFL talent the past year, he struggled more so than than when Adunze or Harrison did. I mean, they're just physical freaks.
Okay.
All right. So we're coming up with the Chargers.
No, this
What
is not JJ McCarthy. I'm staying this now.
what are the Chargers gonna do? So the Chargers are gonna trade pick number 5 and pick number 105 to the Vikings for the 11th and the 23rd pick in the first round. With the Vikings on the clock, where are they gonna go?
The Vikings are going to take Jaden Daniels. And I know in other mock drafts, I've not had Jaden Daniels going this high. Well, the reason is I'm putting him here is, quite frankly, because trades are now allowed. If the Vikings stand pat, the Raiders might jump them. The Broncos might jump them. Who knows? Maybe even the Jets want to jump them if they want to get MVP season at Aaron Rodgers. You have all these guys that are going to want to jump and get a quarterback, and the Vikings have the tools, and they have clearly showed that they want a quarterback. And I'm going to give my head coach the position he wants. I'm going to give him the third best quarterback in this draft, in my opinion, in Jaden Daniels.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So we are on the clock with the Giants.
So, the Giants here. This is something you're going to disagree with when I read off the position, but you do like his talent. And the reason why I picked this guy here is because I think he can play guard and be better at it than tackle, let alone I like these guys. I like the Giants tackles, and that'd be Troy Fautanu. Troy Fautanu, I think, has 5 position versatility. They have 2 tackles who I like in New York, but I don't like their interior. I do not like their guards, and I do not like their center. I did consider Jackson Powers Johnson here, but I ultimately gave it to Fautanu because I think Fautanu will have better versatility in Dable's scheme than Jackson Powers Johnson would.
Would you, by any chance, entertain an open tryout to see who would be better at tackle? Because, to be quite honest, I'm not sold on either Giants tackle. And are you automatically sticking him at guard, or is it an open competition?
I would put him at guard right now just because there's no one else at guard, and I'd want to put the best offensive line I can on the field to protect Daniel Jones, who has had some injuries, some neck injuries, and I believe it was a knee injury that took him out last year. I think you just need to protect him overall, and unfortunately, I think you have to kind of go in with these 2 tackles as they are and then go off of who is next. Maybe in a couple years from now, maybe you move off of an Andrew Thomas and you go with Fautanu at tackle. But as the Giants stand today, I kind of leave him at guard just to protect Jones.
Okay. So the Titans are up next. Titans have, quite a few needs. They did address some offensive weapon issues, but what do you have the Titans doing?
I have them taking Joel, the best tackle in this draft, in my opinion. He's my highest graded lineman at 4th overall as my best position overall. I think he's just a very, very good tackle. He's not flashy. He's not going to get the fan base all riled up like, oh my God, we got Joel. But he's a guy you're going to have on your line for 10 to 12 years, and no one's going to touch your quarterback, and you're going to love that you never hear his name more than once.
I like that. Titans fans would absolutely love that. So I think you're good there. Okay, so the Falcons are up next. Now it's been either, are they going to take edge or are they going to take an offensive weapon? So, you still have Malik Neighbors out there. We have Brock Bowers out there. What do you have the Falcons doing?
So I want your honest reaction when I first say this name and I say the position. Talisi Fuwaka. What are your thoughts?
I'm kind of shocked that that you have him going here, but Smash Mouth Football is the name of his game. So I'm of the opinion when you're drafting these tackle / guards to basically get it to where the best 5 are playing in the best position. So taking him here and just saying that he's going to be a guard. I disagree with the taking a guard at this level, but taking a versatile player like Fuaga and just letting him be wherever on the line that that he works best at, right? So I mean, if he's the best right tackle on that team, then let him play right tackle on that team. If he's the best left guard on that team, then make him the best left guard on that team. But let his play determine his position.
So I currently have him slotted in as a guard right now. That's just because I need to put as many offense linemen on the field that I feel like can protect Kirk Cousins. This is not me saying Kirk Cousins is bad. Far from it. But this is also me saying Kirk Cousins is an older quarterback coming off an Achilles injury. We don't know how he's going to move in the pocket. We don't know how he's going to be able to get out of bad situations. The pocket closes on him. How does he move around in the pocket? We don't know, and that's kind of scary. And that's why I kind of want to give them Fuaga, a guy put in a guard, kind of just build up that offense line more. Let alone, you're going to have him opening up holes for Bijan Robinson. That's another versatile weapon that you can use more because you have a more dominant offensive lineman there. So I do.
Did you at any time consider taking a defensive lineman, or were you sticking offensive line just to protect your newest investment?
So this pick actually took me a long time to figure out because I debated between three guys here. And two of them, because one's Fuaga, the other's Johnny Newton, and the last guy is Byron Murphy. I was debating which side of the ball I wanted to build trenches on, and I just kept on thinking, going back and forth. What do I want to do? And I ultimately decided protecting Kirk Cousins, who we just paid a whole bunch of money to, is more important for me than taking a defensive lineman who I think I can get some good defensive line depth later on in this draft and take one of the best offensive linemen in this class overall. I'd rather take that.
All right, fair enough. So
And
up next, we have
the reason why he's at guard is he has 33 and 1/8 inch arms.
no, and I understand that. I like I said, I wanted to ask the question, put it to you. So up next we have the Bears. What are the Bears going to do?
Trade alert! Trade alert! Trade alert!
Oh,
the Bears need to trade back here. This is a must. They have 4 picks in this draft. This is not a team that should have only 4 picks in the draft. I'm going to trade back with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we're going to pick up 17 and 48 for pick 9.
All right.
So the Jaguars are on the clock.
Jags are on the clock.
You ready for people to get mad? I am taking my man, one of my favorite wide receivers in this class. I'm taking Adonai Mitchell, AD Mitchell here. I am sorry. I know a lot of people love Malik Neighbors, and I'm sure Jags fans would love Malik Neighbors. And hey, he's not a bad player. I don't think there is a wide receiver outside of the top 2 that competes with AD Mitchell in just the overall ability he has. He's a good route runner. He's good at contested catch, and he is a big body. This is stuff we look at. A lot of these fast guys who are drafted high, they tend to struggle a bit at going to the next level. It's what worries me about Malik Neighbors, but I don't feel that worry about AD Mitchell. Now, are there character concerns? And I've said this in previous mocks. Yes. So, I said that, and I wanted to be more informed on this. I wanted to do my research and see why there are concerns. And I found out why. Do you know why?
No, I don't.
So he is I believe it was type 2 diabetic. So he has blood sugar issues, and when his blood sugars get low, he's apparently a cranky person. That's it.
Well, that's the rumor. You never know all of the details, right? But so one thing that I know you brought up the difference between like Mitchell and Neighbors, and one of the things that I don't think you addressed for Jacksonville, which I think is really, really important here, is they would like Malik Neighbors, but the fact is he's not an X.
No, and AD Mitchell is.
And AD Mitchell is. And they have a bunch of slot players on that team, right? And so you'd be basically putting Malik Neighbors into the slot, and you still don't have that X receiver, you know. So I mean, am I that high on AD Mitchell? No, but I understand taking him over Malik Neighbors for positional fit. So shocking, absolutely. Um, and I know LSU fans are probably, um, uh, like plotting revenge on you, but hey, with what we have up next, maybe you'll make everybody happy. Who knows? So
I think
now
I think there's
we have
one
the
fan
Jets.
I think there's one fan base I'm about to make upset.
We have the Jets on the clock.
So, trade alert. We had the Jets trading back, and overall, want to get your thoughts on this. The Jets trade 10-72 185 for 15-46 117. The Colts move up to number 10. What are your thoughts about the Colts moving up, and who do you think they're going to get here?
Well, the Colts have a tendency to draft, physical freaks. And I would say that the two most physical freaks that I could see going this early, one would be, sorry, one would be Dallas Turner, and the other one would be Brock Bowers. So,
And it's neither of those.
wow. Okay. Well, lay it on me then.
So, at the 10th overall pick, the Indianapolis Colts are trading up to take Malik Neighbors. So, LSU fans, you didn't have to wait that long. But let me explain why I think Malik is a better fit in Indianapolis than Jacksonville. And it's quite simply, Indianapolis has that X in Pittman already. They need a deep threat. They need that guy to take the top off the defense. And let me tell you, as a Gator fan, I know how far Anthony Richardson can throw. Malik Neighbors can run pretty fast, and that's a pretty good go ball guy. But you also have to look at it like this. The Chargers are picking at pick 11 after the trade with the Vikings. We needed to jump the Chargers to make sure Neighbors was a Colt, because he ain't getting past the Chargers with how depleted that receiving room is, and with pretty much overall how many linemen have gone off the board. It's kind of scary to think about. They don't get one of their top price guy. They don't get a guy who played right tackle in Fuaga. They don't get Joe Alt. They might look at getting Malik Neighbors here. So as the Colts, we have to jump them, and we have to take the guy we want to plug into our offense.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So as you had so eloquently put, the Chargers are now on the clock.
So the Chargers are here, and there was consideration to actually trade down again. But with the run on tackles and just overall how bad Herbert got beat up, we can't afford to trade back anymore without getting another guy to help Justin Herbert. And I apologize if I butcher his name. Fashanu from Penn State. Olu Fashanu. I think he's a very good tackle prospect. In most classes, I think he'd be the best tackle prospect. There just so happens to be a Joe Alt in this class that is beyond good. So I look at Olu Fashanu, and I know the talk is he's got to move to right side. I don't think that's as big of an issue as a lot of people would put it, because Fashanu, he didn't feel like a natural left tackle to me when I watched him. I thought he'd benefit moving to the opposite side. And I think especially having Rashawn Slater at your left tackle side will help ease him into it, because there's not as much pressure being the blind side as there would be with a Justin Herbert.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So now we have the Broncos on the clock. We have 3 quarterbacks still available out there. Are you giving the Broncos the coveted quarterback, or are you making them play with Zach Wilson?
Well, we don't get to know yet, because the Broncos are trading back. They're trading back with the Los Angeles Rams, and the trade is pick 12 and 121 to the Rams for 19 and 52. To break down why the Broncos decided to trade back, they suck. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is not a good football team. Zach Wilson's your quarterback, Denver. Yeah, well, maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. We're yet to get to pick 19 where we'll be drafting. But for right now, let's talk about the Rams. What did the Rams lose this offseason that's impossible to replace?
The best defensive tackle in football the last 10 plus years.
Yeah. And even though I don't think this guy can replace him, this is not a shot. You know my love for this player. When I say his name, you're going to know it. I think they need to fill out this position. They need a guy in there to play defensive tackle. He won't be as good as Aaron Donald, but he's pretty damn good. And that's Johnny Newton, Jerzon Newton. Whatever site lists his name, Newton is a beast. He is going to be a monster in this class. I'm going to give him to the Rams. Even though they lose Aaron Donald, you're not replacing Aaron Donald production. You're getting something there now instead of nothing overall.
That's that will replace a big hole in there, or fill a big hole in their line. So now we have the Raiders on the clock, and once again we have 3 quarterbacks.
Listen, I may not be the biggest Raiders quarterback room guy. I think Gardner Minshew is serviceable. Aiden O'Connell is a quarterback, but I don't feel like drafting a guy here when my next quarterback is ranked 33. That's a 20 overall difference. That's kind of hard for me to take. So did we consider a trade back? Yes, but we also looked at it like this. This defense has still got some pieces it needs fixed. I love bringing Christian Wilkins in the offseason, pairing up with Max Crosby. That's going to be a fun pair to watch on Sundays. But that secondary is just yuck. It's just yuck. That's the best way I can describe it. And when I was filling out this draft, I accidentally made a major mistake. I forgot to list this player originally, and then I went back, and I was mad at myself because he made so much sense here, and in my head, I actually thought I put him here, and I didn't, and I put someone else. But Kenyon Mitchell here to the Raiders at 13. They need a corner. They need a guy who can pretty much do everything a corner wants. He holds up in man. He holds up in zone. He's good at press. He's good at playing the ball. He's physical at the point of attack. He is everything you want in a corner. And, I mean, you watch his film, he kind of just screams a Raider.
I think he's more technical than what I consider a Raider. But, I mean, he is a solid player. He's, when I asked you about what your first round criteria was, mine is somebody that moves the needle, right? Immediate move the needle. That means that he's stepping onto the field day one, and he's going to move the needle, make the plays to help win the game. And he is definitely one of those. So I like the pick. I think the Raiders will like that pick as well. So,
and here's something. The Raiders did try to move up to take Jaden Daniels because there was thoughts to reunite him with a former coach he had at ASU and Antonio Pierce, but unfortunately the Chargers were being too stubborn to work with them.
Wow. How mean. All right, we have the Saints on the clock, and the Saints need a lot of help. It has been rumored that they could be looking at quarterback. They don't really have a serviceable tackle on the team right now that is healthy. So where are you going with the Saints?
I got to go tackle here because, man, I don't want to turn Derek Carr into a lemon. But I want to go tackle, but I can't because I don't have a guy graded to the point I want to take him at 14. So instead, I'm going to go with my highest rated offensive lineman. And Saints fans, you can be as mad at me as you want. I love this player to death. And that's Jackson Powers Johnson. Me and the Saints haven't agreed with their picks for a couple years now. I liked Olave. It's around it. The Saints need offensive line help. And as much as I want to take a tackle, and there was trying to make attempts to trade down, but no one felt the pressure of the Jets at 15 taking their guy, or Seattle at 16 taking their guy, The Bears 17, Bengals 18, Broncos 19, or Steelers at 20. There wasn't the need that they felt they had to jump all those teams right then and there. So Jackson Powers-Johnson kind of was the best lineman available, and he is a guy that can play center or guard, and you kind of just need that overall because the Saints line, even though tackle is a major need, I don't think their interior line was all that good last year either.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now we're sitting with the Jets.
So, you mentioned this a couple weeks ago, like a month or two ago at this point, and it's stuck in my head. And with all the tackles gone, I want to make this happen. This is more or less my fun, dumb pick as a football fan who would just like to sit back and watch Brock Bowers to the Jets at 15.
I'm glad that you put out that I said that so long ago because I did bring that up before it was fashionable. I just want that out there on record.
His whole argument was he does not trust Woody Johnson to be a smart owner.
That was it totally was. Uh, so now we have the Seahawks up.
Yeah, what kickers are on the board? No, I'm not going to take my time on this. They're not trading back. I know this is a first for Seahawks fans. There's no trade talk. Cooper DeJean. I'm not going to go too far into details of why I think Cooper DeJean's a great player, because he is. I'm more or less going to talk about why the Seahawks need a safety, because they don't have any. Or they don't have anybody worth playing, would be my point. Cooper DeJean is probably the best safety in this class overall. He would get put in a McDonald's system that relies heavily on safeties as a position of need. I think Cooper DeJean, he is a good roamer of the secondary. He's a good at playing the middle. He can come up. He's fast. He's a great return man. He could be the guy to fill in Earl Thomas's shoes that they haven't found yet.
So are you thinking of having him play more of that deep roaming safety to utilize his ball hawking ability?
I would. And
Okay.
he'd be my return man straight off the bat. There'd be no competition. If you watch this guy return punts and kicks at Iowa, he was their best offensive player.
Well, I got to say that as much as I'm hoping that Seattle trades down to somehow get at least one more day 2 pick, I love me some Cooper DeJean, so I would not be as devastated with that call out. I think Witherspoon playing, whether they're going to put Witherspoon on the outside or put him in at nickel, and DeJean, float him in the back half of that defense. I just think that could be magic. So I'm all on board for it.
Okay, so we're to the point that I'm starting to run out of first-round players I've graded. And with the Bears on the clock, I'm going to give them my first non-first-round grade, but he was very, very, very close. But I'm drafting him because he fits a position of need in the Bears, in my opinion. And Eberflus defense kind of needs it. Byron Murphy. They need a 3-tech. They need a 3-tech. They need a 3-tech. Javon Dexter, I have a place in my heart because he's a Gator. I love my Gators. I don't think he excelled at 3-tech anywhere close to as well as Byron Murphy could in that Matt Eberflus defense. I think Eberflus would get him, would put him out there day one. He'd be on that ground, stuffing the Lions, stuffing the Vikings, and stuffing those nasty Packers. And come on, Bears fans. Don't you want to beat the Packers? It's my best sell to Bears fans. Just beat the Packers. But seriously, though, he is a great player, and I do think he would become very loved very quickly in Chicago.
All right. Well, up next, you just said it, is the Bengals.
Bengals. I don't necessarily like doing this because I'm a Steelers fan. I don't want the Bengals to hit a home run in this class. But I'm picking here, and they're about to hit a grand slam. Laiatu Latu, the edge at UCLA. I love Latu. He, in my opinion, is the best edge in this class. he is leaps and bounds better than the others, in my opinion. He is a very cerebral player. I don't feel like he starts the games out hot. I think he's a very learns and progresses through the game. He's like a Derrick Henry. The longer the game goes, the better he gets. And it's not because he's just this physical freak. No, he's picking up the certain things offensive linemen are doing. He's figuring out how the running back's going, where the quarterback's looking. He sees all this stuff so well. In my opinion, he should have been a quarterback with how well he reads stuff. He has amazing eyes and amazing football intelligence. And especially, this was made Tuesday night. The Trey Hendrickson news broke the day of we're recording this that he has requested a trade. Now, I don't think the Bengals are going to give it to him. And part of the reason I did draft Latu here was because Hendrickson's deal is running out soon. But he's such a good player, man, and I hate this.
So my question for you, do you think that Latu's play style befits the AFC North? He's a great pass rusher, but when I watched his tape, I don't think he's as strong against the run. So
And that is fair, but also as important as being the AFC North is, you also have to beat the Chiefs and the Bills, and they are very reliant on the pass game. So they have the tools we see to beat AFC North teams. And here's the thing, they're going to get Joe Burrow back, so of course they're going to have an easier time. The goal is going to be winning the playoffs. Get to the playoffs. With Joe Burrow, you can do that, and then unleash Latu. Unleash Myles Murphy, who you drafted last year. The team's overall very deep at edge, but with the news of Hendrickson and overall just my opinion of they're going to let him walk because the Bengals, I think Latu fits a need, and it also helps a future need before it becomes a bigger issue.
fair enough. So now we finally have the Denver Broncos on the clock. And we still have 3 quarterbacks on the clock. It's been rumored that the Broncos have a lot of interest in Bo Nix. But where do you have him taken?
Okay, well, thankfully it's my mock draft and not anyone else's because me no like Bo Nix. Bo, he's got talent, don't get me wrong, but that Auburn film has scarred me to the point I don't even want to consider him in the first 2 days of the draft. So, Bo is a no-go. Bo don't know. I gotta take kind of a position of need, especially the rumors that trading Cortland Sutton. And he's an amazing player, and that's Brian Thomas Jr. Like, this team needs wide receivers. They're going to be probably trading Cortland Sutton, sounds like, on draft weekend. They already traded Jerry Jeudy. You got Tim Patrick coming off 2 season-ending injuries before the season even starts, really. You need a wide receiver, and I know they don't have a quarterback to get the ball to the wide receiver, but you still need them at some point.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Honestly, I think Broncos fans would be happy with that.
Oh, wait, can I take that back? I don't want Broncos fans to be happy.
Your best friend's a Broncos fan. Give him a little love. All right, so now we're at pick 20 with the Steelers.
Oh boy. So I'm gonna put on my biased hat here, and big surprise, I'm a Steelers fan. I'm not taking Mims here. I know a lot of fans want Amarius Mims. I don't see it especially in Arthur Smith's system. I don't see it. I see a guy who is highly athletic, and this is not Amarius Mims talking about, who is highly athletic and has played a position of need because there is not a position of this guy on the roster. You take Graham Barton here. I don't think I have to go into too many details, but let me break it down to you. They have no center on roster. Graham Barton, he didn't play center much, but when he did his freshman year, he was really freaking good. He was great in the run game last year. I don't remember how many times I was watching the Florida State game and I said, oh, there's Barton again. Oh, there's Barton. He was going up against a very good defense, and he had a couple really good reps against your guy, Verse. He looked like an NFL lineman, and he has center ability. He has played it in the past. He is very athletic. And this is just a guy I take a shot on at pick 20.
Fair enough. I like him. I would not be too hurt if Seattle took him at 16.
I
So,
would
you
be.
know,
I'd be very hurt if Seattle took him at 16.
I get it. So, all right. So we're on the Dolphins right now. So, what track star do you have them taking?
I almost did give them a track star in Nate Wiggins, but I went with a different cornerback in Terrion Arnold. And my reasoning behind this is I'm not a fan of the Dolphins' nickel and safety position overall. I know Javon Holland's really good, but after that, I'm kind of on. It doesn't impress me to the point I don't think they have a great shot against some of these these better teams in the AFC who can throw T. Higgins and Jamar Chase going wherever on the field. Pat Mahomes will throw the ball wherever. Travis Kelsey, no one can. I'm not going to put anyone on guarding him. But the Bills have found ways to attack the Dolphins secondary. A lot of these teams have found ways to attack the Dolphins secondary, and I just feel it's either at the nickel or it's at the back safety. They stay away from Ramsey. They stay away from Howard, who is no longer there, if I remember correctly, and they kind of just attack that nickel. I want to take that nickel position, and I want to improve it greatly with Terry Arnold.
Fair enough. What do we have for the Eagles?
Nate Wiggins, we're going to have a mini run on cornerbacks. The Eagles secondary got better in the offseason, bringing back Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but I don't think it's good yet. They have a need at corner. James Bradbury was unplayable last year. Darius Slate is getting old. They need a corner, and I know the worry is Nate Wiggins is small, and objectively so, he is a very small guy. But he's also still only 20. He's going to grow. He's going to build more mass on him. He's going to get more of an NFL body in the future. And let alone the Eagles have shown a track record of drafting smaller guys who are small for their position but are good at press, are good at beating press, and show that they can work at the next level.
All right. So this is the Chargers' second pick.
So
Now, just as a reminder to everybody that are interested, the Chargers took Fashanu with their first pick. So where are they going here?
I'm going to give them Ladd McConkey, and the reason because this Chargers wide receiver room is not good. I'm not going to cut around the bush. They cut Mike Williams to trade Keenan Allen. Quinn Johnston, I don't think either of us were fans of him last year at all because he couldn't catch the ball.
You were definitely higher on him than I was. I just was not a fan.
So there were two guys in consideration here. Ladd McConkey, who has had some drop issues in the past, but overall, I kind of forgive him because I think he's very talented. Now, the other guy in consideration was Ricky Pearsall, and the reason why, Ricky don't drop anything. That ball going to Ricky, he catching it. But I just view Ladd as more of a complete overall player than Ricky, so I'm going to give Ladd to the Chargers, give him to Justin Herbert, and see what happens. Let alone he is a better run blocker, which is going to be very important for Greg Roman's system.
Fair enough. What do we have the Cowboys doing?
They have the Cowboys trading back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this is a very minor trade. It's Cowboys trade pick 24 and 216 to the Bucks for 26 and 125. The reason the Bucks jump up, Green Bay was eyeing the guy they wanted. And that's because the Bucks want Dallas Turner, an edge rusher from Alabama. Now, Packers, I feel like very much need another edge rusher. Lucas Van Ness did not show up last year, and I thought it was very telling in the last quarter of the Packers 49ers game. They could not put as much pressure on the quarterback as he would like. Let alone Jeff Hafley is a guy who very much likes having good edge rushers. So why did the Bucks jump him? Well, they lost Shaq Barrett, and as much as we love Joe Tryon, he has not worked at the next level as much as we thought he would. Dallas Turner is a athletic, toolsy guy who can bring a lot to the table, and Todd Bowles can work with very, very well.
Fair enough. Yeah, Tryon hasn't. I thought he was going to take the league by storm, so got that one wrong. So I guess what do you have for the Packers now since you stole Dallas Turner from them?
So we're sticking on the defensive side of the ball, and we're going to go Peyton Wilson, and that's just because if you watch Boston College linebackers and you watch them play defense overall in the past, they have a big emphasis on linebackers who are athletic and can go all around the field. Peyton Wilson can do that. I am very much a big fan of Peyton Wilson. He's one of my last guys in the first round grade. He might actually be my last one. I'm not looking at it directly. But he is just extremely talented. He gets the ball, he makes plays, and he's good in the run. He can draw back in coverage. He overall is a Green Bay Packer in a sense of how he plays.
Fair enough. So the Cowboys are next. And remember that they are all in. So what pick is going to put them over the top so that they can win the Super Bowl, like Jerry said?
Well, I wish I could pick a head coach, but I can't. Jared Verse, edge from Florida State. And even though I'm not as high on Jared Verse as you are, or am I that he is my highest rate edge, he fits Dallas better than my other guy. I think Jared Verse will be a better 4-3 guy than a Chop Robinson, even though I'm sure Micah Parsons would love Chop. I don't think that fits as well as Verse does. Verse can play the run a bit better. They'll be going against the Eagles, who are very run heavy. The Commanders, I assume, will use the ball running, and so will the Giants, let alone near in the NFC. A lot of those teams like to run the ball down your throat. They need an edge who's better at playing the run than Chop Robinson, who is, in my opinion, just a pass rusher at the moment.
Fair enough. I think at this point in the draft, if Dallas can get Jared Verse, they've got a steal there. He's rated a lot higher on my board, so they'll be happy with that. Cowboys fans should be really happy with that. All right, so we got the Cardinals up again, and get your kickers out, right?
I mean, they'd still find a way to miss when Seattle comes to town. Anyone who knows that reference, we're going to take offense line here, and a tackle I'm putting in a guard in Jordan Morgan. Morgan, I think, he's a very good blocker. He's good in pass pro. He's good in run blocking. He just doesn't have the arm length that you want in a tackle. So I'm going to move him into guard and just kind of continue building up this Cardinals offensive line. You have Jonathan Gannon comes from Philadelphia, where the offensive line is key. It's key to their offense. It's key to everything. They are built in the trenches. Jordan Morgan, I don't think he's a tackle. But like I said, you move him to guard. He has the ability to play guard. He doesn't have the arm length for a tackle. But if you can take a guy at pick 27 who has first-round traits, just not the build for first-round talent, I think you take him.
And he doesn't have to move very far.
No, he very much is not. Tucson, I believe Tucson's where AU is, and Phoenix are not far away.
So the Bills, what do you have the Bills doing? Are they going to take a wide receiver to offset the losses that they have through the offseason? Or are we going secondary because they lost a lot in the secondary as well?
Oh, Ricky, you're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Ricky. Hey, Ricky. Oh! Ricky Pearsall's the pick, and I apologize, everyone, for that. But as a Gator fan, I said that a lot when he caught the ball. Ricky Pearsall, he's great at catching the ball. He catches everything that's thrown at him. When you have Josh Allen, who, even though he is a great elite quarterback, he does get a little erratic where he throws the ball. He has very good hands. He's a good route runner. He gets to the ball. He catches it. He's not afraid to take a hit either. I seen Graham Mertz give him a couple murder balls, and he took them. He took the hits. He got back up, which is something Bills fans would admire and love.
All righty, fair enough. The Lions. Interesting. What are the Lions just dumped out some money today too, so it'll be interesting to see where you go with this.
Can they give me some money because I'm picking for them? No, they're taking Rook Ahoror, and I feel like I butchered that name, but Rook from Clemson. This guy, he's just toolsy. He's tools on top of tools on top of tools on top of tools on top of tools. I want him to go to a coach that I feel can get the best out of him. Put him on that D-line, have him work with Aiden Hutchinson, and just have that motivator, Dan Campbell, bring out the best in him.
Not to mention the fact that he's got a heck of a cool name, so,
A name I cannot pronounce.
Aurora.
Okay, Scooby-Doo.
That's what his nickname should be. All right, the Ravens. So the Ravens typically take a draft pick that everybody thinks should have gone a lot sooner that falls to them? Or are they going to do it this year?
So, for some people, yes, even though this is a reach on my board, for a lot of people it's not, and that'd be Amarius Mims. Amarius Mims, I don't think is pro ready yet, but I like where he would be going in Baltimore. Baltimore, they have the offensive coordinator that recruited him to Georgia, which I think is a big, big, major plus. And with how Baltimore used Ronnie Staley last year, they rotated him. Not knowing if Mims is going to be ready to play left tackle at the next level right away, but I could see him working in a rotation that they do with Ronnie Stanley. Kind of just keep rotating until Marius Mims is ready to take over that full-time position. Get him some playing experience, which he lacked at Georgia. Get him at the NFL level. Kind of nurture him. Protect him like a little baby. That's just what you're going to have to do. He's a big baby, and when he gets good, he's going to be a monster. But right now, you kind of have to nurture him. You have to get him to grow up a bit and become that monster.
So what do you have the Niners picking? Because you've got to think that with the salary, their salary cap issues, the way they're going to hit following next year, that their window might be closing. So which player is going to help push them over the top?
So can I be honest here? When I sent you my mock draft, I sent a lie for the 49ers pick. That's not who I'm taking. I'm taking Braylon Trice, the edge out of Washington. Braylon Trice, he was very good in playing the run. He was very good on the stuff the 49ers love. He can get after the quarterback, but when you watch that Washington defense, he was very, very good on the run. And that's something San Francisco lacked, in my opinion, when I watched them play some of these playoff games. I kept on watching teams go at Chase Young side, at Chase Young side, at Chase Young side. And it was to the point I said, run to Chase Young side every time until they figure out how to stop it. It was bad. They need a guy there that can stop the run. And I think Braylon Trice can very much do that.
That has got to be, because I've seen Trice in like the 4th and 5th rounds. So that one's definitely unique. All right. And so for the final pick of the draft, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, pick number 32 in the first round. Who are they taking?
I'm going to regret this. I'm not going to hear the end of it.
Who are they taking?
Trade alert, trade alert, trade alert. The Chiefs are trading back with the New England Patriots. The Chiefs are trading pick 32 to the Patriots for 34 and 137. And the New England Patriots, they get their quarterback in Michael Penix Jr.
I think that's great. I think that's great. So
I'm not going to hear the end of this, everybody. I could spend my time talking about why I think this fits. He's going to sit behind Jacoby Brissett. He's a very good quarterback. He knows how to throw the deep ball. The only question is, he doesn't throw the middle of the field. He very much reminds me of Seattle Russell Wilson. Great deep ball, great intermediate, good pocket movement. Even though he doesn't run a bunch, but just doesn't throw over the middle of the field. I just really like Penix, and if he didn't have those injuries, he would have been a top 10 grade for me. So I'm going to do my best to build out this Patriots team, get offensive linemen for him, and don't put him in there immediately. Have Brissett take some of the beatings, unfortunately, even though I like Brissett. And also have Brissett help him work along. Jacoby did come from Alex Van Pelt's system in the past in Cleveland. He knows that he can help nurture Penix and help bring him to speed. I regret this pick already.
Well, everybody, that is the end of the first round. It's always good to see, especially on drafts where you're picking the players that you think would have gone, just to see how many draft picks you actually get right in the round. Not so much the actual player going to the right team or whatever else, but just, of the 32 first round picks, how many did you get? So
I already see a couple I know I'm not getting right for doing that.
But it'll be interesting. So good luck to everybody. I hope that your team drafts what you wanted.
Unless you're a Bengals, Ravens, or Browns fan, I hope your drafts suck.
And with that, we'll let you go.
Peace, everyone. Have a great draft week. It's my favorite year as an NFL fan. We have hope, and we're going to see some amazing talents get drafted and hopefully achieve their dreams. Just remember, all these players, they are trying to achieve their dreams. As much as I can say some stuff I don't like about these players, I want them all to succeed. I want them all to get their dream job that all of us football fans at one point had.